Okay, so we have a course and we are going to create our first quiz in the course. To do that, you log in as the teacher, go up to the little cog here and turn editing on. Very important step that. Without it, you can't do much in a Moodle course. Okay, so we're going to put our first simple multiple choice quiz in topic number 1. And we're going to do that by clicking on Add an Activity or Resource, then choosing Quiz, and clicking on Add. Now, the quiz name that you put here will be the name of the quiz that students will see on the course page. Remembering what you put in the quiz is going to come after this. This is just the information the students will see before they do any questions. So let's just call this an example quiz. Okay, we might say answer all questions and click on submit all and finish, which is what the students will see, a little button with that written on it, after they finish the quiz. When we click on this expand all, you can see everything that is involved with the quiz. Now, we're not going to do much with this because there's so much to explain. Basically, how did I learn Moodle? I learned Moodle by using these little question marks here. They are very, very good. If you click on them, it tells you everything about each of these little things, excuse me, along the way. So basically what you can see though is you can set time limits, you can set periods where they can or cannot take the quiz, you can specify grades, etc., highest grade, average grade if you want them to do it more than once, obviously highest grade or average grade, and this layout here is quite important, particularly this section 1 here, free. Free means you can go back and forth between pages. If you choose sequential, once the student takes answers one question and goes to the next page, they won't be able to come back to that particular page that they've just left. Okay, so that sequential is quite useful. We'll leave it at free for now. Okay, every question, new page, you can set that, or you can set it so that all the questions are on one page. There are different options for you there. Okay, this question behavior, a lot of different options for you there. As you can see, adaptive mode, no penalties. Deferred feedback means they're just going to answer the question and then go through. If you use adaptive mode, with what students can do is they can check the answer at each question. Okay, they don't have to finish the quiz before getting feedback. So this is what deferred feedback means. Well, if you are doing practice quizzes where you want the students to learn, I would suggest adaptive mode. If you are doing kind of exam kind quiz, type of quiz where you want to find out have they learnt anything yet, then deferred feedback is probably the way to go. There are other options there, but we won't go into those in this first workshop. Okay, again, lots of options for the students with regarding reviews. Okay, reviewing those. You can add a password for that if you wanted to. You could also change different ways that students can view results, etc. there. Basically what I'm saying here is that there are a lot of options for you to include here. We're just going to go through and use pretty much all the default options there. So let's click on Save and Display. Remembering that we haven't actually created any questions yet. All we're doing is making a link to the questions. Okay, now in the next tutorial that I'll do, I'll talk about categories. I'll talk about the question bank, questions within the question bank, and why you really should get your head around categories, because we're just going to create one question here. But if you're thinking long term, using Moodle long term, then what happens is you'll create a lot of different questions, and if you don't get into categories right from the start, you'll have a very convoluted, difficult to understand question bank. Anyways, let's edit the quiz. Okay, so at the moment, remembering we have no questions in here. What we want to do is add a question. Now, if we're just having one question here, we might not want it to be worth 10 points. We might want it to just be 1 point. So if we click on Save, this quiz then has a grade of 1 point. Let's say you had 10 questions in this quiz. It would still only be 1 point if we set the grade here. Okay, so at the moment we're just going to make it one question, just making one question, but understand the grade for this quiz is set here. Okay, so we're going to add a new question. Okay, I mentioned that we're going to add a multiple choice question, so let's do that. Click on Add. Okay, now remembering what I mentioned about defaults for categories, very, very important. So at the moment we haven't created any properly. We just have default for this particular course, but later hopefully you'll see how important those categories are. Let's just call this, remembering again that the naming of quiz questions is very important. If we're doing a geography question, perhaps say this was a geography class, well, let's just make this capital cities 1. And let's go with, okay, Canberra is the capital, capital city of which country? Now, you can have only one answer or you can have multiple answers. This particular question lends itself to only one answer, so let's put that there. Okay, the answer we want is Australia. Okay, let's give that 100%. Okay, choice number 2, let's say Canada. Obviously that's not correct, so no points there. New Zealand, again, no, not correct, so no change there. Choice number 4, we'll put in South Africa. Now you can give feedback there. Yeah, so simply well done. Now you might give them the correct answer there, or you might say a long way from the correct answer. This country is in the southern hemisphere. Okay, New Zealand. Not bad, but not correct. Travel west from that country for the correct answer. Okay, your in the right hemisphere, but very far to the west of the correct answer. Okay, so yeah, lots of different things you can do there. Again, we could have we thought about it at the beginning, expand all so that we can see the different options down the bottom here. Yeah, combined feedback for everything. Multiple tries, you can set penalties. This is only really when we have adaptive mode set. Okay, but let's just click on Save Changes now. Okay, so what we have here is a simple multiple choice question. We can view a preview of that here. Okay, you'll notice that the answers have been automatically randomized, so that even if you had this at the top, Australia at the top, there's a 25% chance that actually Australia will go on to D or wherever, because the settings are, the answers are automatically randomized. Okay, now if we wanted to edit that question, we could click in there and edit it, but basically what we've done here is create a simple quiz. So there it is on our course page. Remembering, if you click on the course short name there, it takes you to the course page. Students will come here, they will see the quiz. Let's have a quick look at it from the student's viewpoint. If we go to switch role to student, okay, now as you see, it's all changed. We can't edit anything as a student. Nothing there for that. So if we click on example quiz, it says answer all the questions, and click on submit, so we'll attempt the quiz. Okay, there you go. See, Australia's at B. It's all randomized there. So let's see if we can get it right. Okay, finish the attempt. Okay, submit all and finish, and we have done it. There's our feedback. Okay, so that's how you make a multiple choice quiz.